All right, so I'm going to go ahead and now create the tkinter part of assignment 11. That's going to go ahead and use this Flask app that we created in the first part. Okay, so basically we're going to create this tkinter GUI application that allows the user to type in a year and core. Okay, so we're going to need probably a couple of labels, one to say type in the year, one to say type in the core. We're going to need a couple of edit or entries, I guess they're called in tkinter, so edit fields where they can type in a year and a core. We're going to need a button that says, go or compute or retrieve or whatever it is. And then we'll need like somewhere to display the results, so like maybe a results label. Okay, so let's go ahead and I'm going to create yet another window in here. All right, and I probably, I guess I'm probably going to need the JSON and the requests library, so let's go ahead and pip install those. I think JSON's already included. Yeah. Requests, though, I will need. All right, so there's the requests. Okay, so now let's go ahead and we'll just we'll call this assignment 11. All right, so when we do our tkinter stuff, we're going to do from tkinter import star, right? We're probably going to need requests, right? So requests will be what we use to make calls to our Flask service that we've created. And then we need to go ahead and import our JSON library so that we can parse. Yeah, actually, do we even have to parse the JSON? It doesn't look like we really do. So we probably don't even need JSON, but whatever. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and create a class. I'll call it Prussian app, something like that. All right, let's give it a constructor. All right, and this is where I'm going to set up all of my GUI elements. So I'll do self.window equals tk. We'll call this, maybe we'll call it year label equals label. Text equals enter the year. Okay. Self.yearLabel.pack. All right, now, and then let's go ahead and create an entry. So let's call this year entry. Self.yearEntry.pack. Okay, and now we need to do the same thing for the core. So go ahead and just copy all this. So let's see. Let's change all of the years to cores. All right. And enter the core. All right, so we got year label, year entry, core label, core entry. All right, we need a button. Self.button equals button. Text equals retrieve data. Okay, and then self.button.bind. And then it's button-1 and click handler. Oh, and I guess since I've done this as a class, I'm gonna need to make this self.clickhandler like that. Okay, because we'll put the click handler here inside this class. Okay, self.button.pack. Okay, and then we probably need to have like a results label. So results equals label. And I guess for right now, we can just set the text to blank because there aren't any results. Okay, so let's go ahead and pack that. And then the last thing we can do right here is just go ahead and do our main loop. All right, so that will basically set up our Prussian app. And now basically we need to have our click handler. And remember the click click handler needs to have this event argument. All right. Okay, so let's go ahead and get what the user typed in for the year. Okay, so that's going to be self.yearEntry.get. All right, whatever they typed in for the core is going to be coreEntry.get. Right? Okay, and then now we have to kind of do some decision making. Right? We need to say, all right, if they're both blank, then we, then we basically don't do anything. If the year has something in it, but the core is blank, then we get just the stuff for the year, right? We call the correct thing. So, all right, so let's go ahead and enumerate some of these cases. So if year is not that, and core is not this, okay, well, then that means they're both filled in, so that means we need to go ahead and make our requests to, so we'll do requests.get, okay, and then we're going to do HTTP localhost :5000/ and we're going to do specific, and then we'll do, I guess I need to make this an F string. So I can do this. So I can do specific year core. Okay. All right. And then, yeah, so I think that's good for that. Okay, so then we can say if year, so let's see, if year is blank and core is not blank, okay, if year is blank and core is not blank, then that means we just want the stuff for core, right? So in that case, we're going to get, instead of specific, we're going to want core. And then we're just going to want core, right? All right. And then if year is not blank and core is blank, then we're going to want the year one. Okay. And then I guess if they're both blank, you wouldn't do anything. Yeah, we'll put in a handle for that in a second. But so at any rate, for now, so once we go ahead and do these requests, we can say, I guess R is inside all these if statements. So I go ahead and I'm just going to initialize it to something. Okay, so if R is not none, then that means we can go ahead and do if r.statuscode is 200, right? The stuff back from our requests module. Then we're going to go ahead and do data equals json.loads. Do we even really need to do data? I guess we really don't, because we're not. You know what? Let's just go ahead and, instead of doing this, let's just go ahead and I think we can just do self.results text equals r.text, right? Yeah, because, we should probably format it a little bit nicer, but I think this will work. Okay. And all right, let's go ahead and see. Let's go ahead and, I guess the last thing that we need to do is we need to actually, create an instance of this Prussian class that we just made, right? And I'm trying to think. I think that's basically all we need to do. Now, there's probably all kinds of typos and other stupid things that I missed, but let's go ahead and try this now. So maybe I don't even need this import JSON. Let's get rid of it. All right, so now that I've got that, all right, I'm going to need, okay, so I need to first make sure my Flask is running. Okay, it's still running from before. All right, so that's good. And so now I'm going to need another window here where I source VNV bin activate. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and do Python assignment11.py. And okay. Oh, yes, I did my is not stuff. All right. Ooh, and then I get Prussian is not defined. I must have named it something else. Okay, so let me slide this tab over here. Oh, I called it Prussian app. Okay, so let's fix that. All right, and then I got very sloppy in here, and so instead of all this is not, I need to do does not equal to, and core does not equal to, and if year is equal to that, and core does not equal to that, and if year does not equal, and core equals, and I think the rest should be okay. All right, so let's try that. Okay, cool. So we got this thing popped up. All right. So if we do, let's go ahead and try the case where we know like 18, what was it? 1881, and I think C11 had 4. Okay. So we get total : 0. Is that right? 1881 and C11. Let's see. 1881. Oh, yeah, I guess it was. So it was 1880 and C11. So let's try that. Where did my little app go? 1880 and C11. Retrieve data. We get 4, yeah. Okay, so it looks like it's working. All right, so now let's see what happens if I just put in 1880. Retrieve data. All right, I get this big thing right here. Okay, and it's got the total and it's got everything in there. All right, because again, it's calling that Flask app that I have running. All right, and so now let's go ahead and remove this and let's just go ahead and put in C11. Retrieve data. Okay, and you see that we get this whole big monstrous thing of all this. Okay, now ideally I would want to go ahead and use the JSON module to parse this and make it look a little bit better. But you can see that it's doing what it's supposed to. It's actually calling, right? It's making HTTP calls to this Flask app that I have running in the background. Okay, so that's basically it. I mean, there's not really a whole lot more to it than that. Again, I could put in some better error checking and things. Like if I put in the year 7 and I hit retrieve data, okay, it's probably throwing all kinds of errors here. Yeah, oh, it's actually not throwing errors. But it should be, right? It should basically say, hey, like there is no year 7 and defined and stuff. So, so this is obviously not doing what it's supposed to. Yeah, anyway, so that's basically it. I hope you guys find that helpful.